Here we are again, Vincenzo's Kitchen, where something good is always cooking. Hope everybody's having a great day. Mine started out early this morning with that great sunrise. Well, today, what we're going to do is put together some nice chunky salsa. And most of the legwork's been done. And I'm just going to show you the spices and how I put it together. Now, what we have over here is about 6 quarts of nice diced tomatoes, and those diced tomatoes are mostly San Marzano and Roma. Got a couple other ones in there, kind of just to give it a little bit of a difference in the tomato textures and flavors. And we also have a good quart green peppers, fresh from the garden, nicely diced, and some white onion, nicely diced. And for my spices, what I want to do is I'm going to start spicing this right now. We're going to use a little bit of basil, probably 1/4 teaspoon. We're going to add some dried cilantro, fresh from my herb garden dried, and we're going to use probably a whole teaspoon of that, maybe even a whole tablespoon. You don't want to overdo on the cilantro. It kind of is a powerful herb spice. I'm going to take some ground black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to take a nice teaspoon of minced garlic. Finally went and got some. There's a nice teaspoon and a half. I'm going to take some chili powder. And that's a full tablespoon. Actually, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. I'm going to take a capful of lime juice. That's our citric acid, so you don't have to add it to the individual jars. And a capful of lemon juice. Again, that's our citric acid. Some people actually take 1/4 teaspoon per pint and stick it right into the jar. And we're also going to take some salt. What is salsa without salt? And depending on how much salt you want in there, I'm throwing 3 tablespoons full in there. I like a nice salty salsa, even though those chips are usually salted nicely. And we're also going to take 2 capfuls of apple cider vinegar, just to do that sweet tart mix in there. And we're going to do an entire cup of white vinegar. And there's our vinegars. Alright, I've got my nice big spoon ready to rock and roll. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add those onions in it, those nice white onions. I'm hoping to get a full 12 pints out of this. I love the smell of onions, fresh onions. Little trick for chopping, dicing your onions. If you put a paper towel down, that'll keep it from making you cry. So when you see everybody crying when they're chopping onions, tell them that little trick about the paper towel. If you chop them on a paper towel, you won't be in there crying. So we're going to mix these onions in here, mix our spices through there, and our herbs and the goodness, and the vinegar. like to mix my salsa like an ingredient at a time. And chopping them on a board rather than in a food processor, the tomatoes, you get rid of a lot of the excess water, even though I'm using San Marzanos and Romas, which have far less water than traditional slicing tomatoes. There's still some in there. But when you do them on the cutting board, a lot of that water gets off of the cutting board so you don't add it to your salsa. I don't like a wet salsa. Some people do, like a picante. I like a nice chunky salsa. Got nice colors in there. I hope everybody can see that. Smells good. I love the smell of freshness. You know, fresh is always best, always. And now, because I like colorful food, I'm going to add about a half a can of yellow sweet corn. So you kind of end up with like a Fiesta blend here. You got dark reds, light reds, whites, dark greens, light greens. And now we've added some yellows in there. It smells wonderful. Wonderfully fresh. And since I like a thicker salsa, I'm going to add the salsa, the tomato paste, into the salsa. I think I'm going to wait until this heats up. We're going to put this on the stove on a medium-high heat. We're going to let this go for about 20 minutes. After that comes to the high heat, then I'll add my can of tomato paste. And there you have it. That's how I put it together. We use our same rules on the water bath. The bowl jars, pint jars, are in the dishwasher. They're almost done. Same thing with fresh lids. And we can reuse rings more than one time. So this is a reuse of other rings. It should give me, I don't know whether I'll get 12, but I'll get 10 out of there. So there you have it. There's the salsa. All right, remember to be kind to one another out there. Help your neighbor if you can. Vincenzo's Kitchen, where something good's always cooking. Be kind to one another out there. Stay safe and well.